All right, we are live on our day 5. I thank God challenge. Wow, this week has been an absolutely amazing week and a busy week, if I might also add. And I thank God that I've been able to continue to do this challenge and to continue to thank God for all that He's been doing in our lives and for all that He has been to us as well. It's easy to just lay back and just ignore some of the things that God has been doing and not give Him praise, and also not to attribute everything that we have received and that we have become to Him as well. So that's why I have been pushing and I've been believing God for strength to give me to continue this challenge and to continue to thank Him for all that He has been doing. I hope you've been following from day 1 until day 5. If not, the videos are available for you to watch and also to enjoy and to reflect and think of the different things that we can thank God for. Today we are thanking God for something that is not really something that you would think that it's a Thanksgiving point, but I like it under the umbrella of a sacrifice of thanksgiving. Today we are thanking God for the seemingly disappointments, or for all the things that we saw as disappointments, that we saw as something that it was an unmet expectation, it was a negative experience or a negative outcome as well. And remember, our key focus, or the person that we're looking up to, is Jesus. Like we said on the previous videos, that Jesus is the one who taught us how to give God thanks in different times and in different circumstances as well. So one of the places that we see Jesus giving thanks is when he was at the tomb of Lazarus. Let's check that out in John 11 from verse 3 to 4. It says in verse 3, I'm reading this in the Amplified Version. It says, "So they sent word to him, saying, Lord, he, our brother, and your friend whom you love is sick." And I could see and sense the confidence that they have, that if they call on Jesus, or number one, they've got Jesus on their speed dial, they can quickly send a message and say that our brother and your friend whom you love is sick. They are confident that Jesus will do something about the sickness of Lazarus, as he has been healing and ministering to other people around as well. Verse 4 says, when Jesus heard this, he said, "This sickness will not end in death, but on the contrary, it is for the glory and honor of God, so that the Son of God may be glorified by it." And as we see and know the story of how Lazarus was restored. Lazarus died after the sisters had sent for Jesus to come and heal him, and everybody was like, "Oh my goodness!" After Jesus knew that Lazarus was dead, but yet, Jesus knew that Lazarus was sick, but yet he didn't come and heal him. But he just declared that it would not end in death, but it did end in death, and it was. And also he had said that it will be for the glory of God. So you might be wondering that where is the glory of God when he said he will do something and then he did not do it. But at the end of the day, we saw that when Jesus came into the scene, it surely did not end in death because there was a death, but the ending was not death. Let's check it out on still the John 11:41 in the Amplified. It said, "So they took away the stone, and Jesus raised his eyes towards heaven and said, Father, I thank you that you have heard me." We see that Jesus now, after he arrived at the town of Martha and Mary and Lazarus, after he arrived in their home, they took him to the grave and he cried. But after he cried, he didn't just continue in mourning. He didn't join them to still cry and still be disappointed, but rather he remembered what he had said and what he had also promised, that this will not end in death, but rather it will be for the glory of the Lord. And he said, Father, I thank you that you always hear what I always ask and what I say also. So we can see that from Jesus, and you can even learn from Jesus that in the face of disappointment, we always need to give thanks. In the face of unmet expectations, we always need to give thanks. And even in the face of negative outcomes also, we always need to give God thanks, because it is easy for you to continue to cry, to continue to mourn, to continue crying and being disappointment can also lead to complaining, and that can also lead to doubt and also to a point of depression. So we see that Jesus just made it showed us that when we are in those disappointing times, when we are in those tough seasons, unmet expectations, negative outcomes of what we have been praying for, it's not a time to complain, but it is a time for us to give God thanks and also thank Him, because we know He has heard our prayers and He always hears us, not on the good times or even when we want Him to hear us, but we know that God hears us when we cry to Him as well. But we see at the end that it did not end in death, just like he said, it ended in a resurrection. So every time you are grateful in the face of disappointment, God comes with a better resurrection and restoration as well. The story is not over because God is not done with you. The story is not over because God is not done with you. It says in Isaiah 61 verse 3, it says, to console those who mourn in Zion, to give them beauty for ashes. It says, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they may be called trees of righteousness, the planting of the Lord, that He may be glorified. From one glory to Him and to His name also. So whatever situation that you find yourself, God says He will turn it around. He will give you beauty for ashes, that He will give you the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness. That in every circumstances that you find yourself, you always need to remember that God will do something about it. He will turn my situation around. Therefore, I don't have to wait for the situation to turn around before I start giving Him thanks. That at the face of disappointment, at the face of unmet expectation, at the face of negative outcomes, I will give Him thanks. Hosea 2:15 says, there I will give her back her vineyard, and I will make the valley of Achor a door of hope. There she will respond as the days of her youth, as in the days she came out of Egypt. It says, at the valley of Achor, a door of hope. Achor means trouble, extreme and serious trouble. It says that in the midst of that trouble, in the midst of Achor, there will be a door of hope. So how do you see the door of hope when you are in distress, when you are in a moment of disappointment, when you are in a moment of unmet expectation? You open up your eyes by thanksgiving, remembering or reminding yourself of what you have said to God, and remembering the promises that He has given to you as well. It says that in 1 Corinthians 10:13, that no temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind. So we see that everything that you are going through is common to mankind. It's common to everybody. It's not a special case. Your case is not a special case where God cannot do anything about it. It says, and God is faithful. Oh, and God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, He will also provide a way out so that you can endure it. Oh, That's a praise break moment right there. That God will give you a way of escape so that you'll be able to endure whatever you find yourself in. Because Jesus had already called himself the way in John 14, verse 6. He says, I am the way. So obviously, when the way is present in your life, he will always make a way also. So we thank God in moments of seemingly disappointed. We say that they are seemingly disappointments because it seems like it's a disappointment, but God is always working something together for our good. It says in 1 Thessalonians 5:18 that whatever may happen to you, continue what? Continue to thank God. God wants you to do this because you belong to Jesus. This song just came to my mind that I'm so glad that I belong to Jesus. I belong to Jesus. I belong to my Lord. I'm so glad that I belong to Jesus, that I belong to Jesus. I belong to my Lord. It says, because you belong to Jesus, what? Continue to give God thanks, and you need to always look for details. And we always say that during the week we said Ephesians 5 on the Message translation, it says that we will continue to look for excuses to thank God. So we are always looking for excuses to thank God because we belong to Jesus. You look at the big picture and be grateful. You look at the open doors and be grateful. You even look at the closed doors and also be thankful. Now Revelations 3:7 says that this is my message to you. I am the one who is completely good. God says, I am the one who is completely good, that he is good and there's nothing that can change him from being good. It says, the true God, I have King David's key in my hands. When I open a door, nobody can shut it, and when I shut a door, nobody can open it. He says that I am the one who opens doors and close doors, and I am the one who is also able to close doors and nobody can open it. Sometimes we must always know that not every open door is from God. Not every open door is from God. So when a door is shut, it does not mean that God is working against you, but rather he is working things to work together for your good. So we must learn to always trust in the wisdom, in the intelligence and the omniscience of the only wise God, and always remember that God can never go wrong. It's not every open door that is meant for us, and that is why sometimes when God sees it, we cannot judge and see a situation that it's not for us. God will have to close it because it's not yours. You will always have to remember that God is always navigating and directing you to get to the path that he has opened for you as well. So we need to thank God not only for the open doors but also for the closed doors, because he said he is the one who opens doors that no man can shut, and also he closes door that no man can open. So we need to look back at the year 2024 and thank God for every disappointment that we might have seen. Maybe you might have applied for a job and they rejected you. Maybe you have applied for a university or a school or a business project and they rejected you. Instead of complaining and saying that, oh, I've been applying and nothing seems to be happening, but yet we give God thanks because God has a better resurrection. God has a better restoration ahead for you as well. I've also have experienced rejection a lot a lot. But today I'm so grateful for those types of rejections, because they redirected me to where God was taking me to. So when you're looking back, look back and say, oh my goodness, I thank God that that door was not open for me, because I am looking forward to the better that God is doing in the next year. I'm looking forward to the better that God will open for me. I'm looking forward to that which He has made for me for the next year or for the next season of your life as well. Judges 14 verse 14 says, out of the eater something to eat, out of the strong something sweet. So it means that God turned what was meant to devour you to become a channel for your provision. So what there are things that are supposed to, or that have been programmed by the enemy to destroy you. There are some doors that the enemy will want to open to destroy you and to lock you in, but God will turn those things for your good. He will turn them that they will not devour you, but it will be a provision for you, that you will have testimonies out of what was that you'll have disappointments out of what was a seemingly disappointment. You'll have testimonies out of what was a seemingly disappointment, and God will turn that for good, and God will bring favorable outcomes for you, outcomes out of those challenging situations. You know that God can bring calmness out of chaos. God can bring beauty out of ashes. God can bring miracles out of situations, and God can bring strength out of weakness. So this is why God says that you need to give thanks, because of what He will bring out of that situation as well. So we thank God for unmet expectations. We thank God for seemingly disappointments. And we also thank God for the negative outcomes. Because when we give Him thanks and we give Him praise, we are setting up the stage for Him to live up to His names of being a restorer, his names of being the way, his names of being a promise keeper, and his names of being the God of our journeys, and his name of being the only wise God. So when you give Him thanks, you are setting Him up that, Lord, I thank you because you are my restorer, because you are the one who resurrects what seems to be dead. You are the one who does what no man can do. You are the one that opens doors that no man can shut. You are the one that closes doors that no man can open. So as we are thanking God and looking forward to the great 2025, we are counting our blessings, we are counting in our losses too, and we are giving Him thanks, because we know that He is our restorer, He is our God, the one who is the only wise God. So as you are looking at your year, don't look at your disappointments and your closed doors and all of your unmet expectations as something to complain about or to frown about, but rather look at it also as a point to give God thanks. I hope you are blessed by today's message. Please do look out for the others from day 1 until day 5. Tomorrow is day 6 and we are meeting right here again. I'm so grateful for God for helping me, because this thing, it's work. It's work. So I really thank God, because I know that Thanksgiving, sometimes it's not like a joyful and an exciting moment, but it's also a sacrifice of Thanksgiving, that we are sacrificing everything, our disappointments, our feelings, and everything at the altar, just so that we can pick up our Thanksgiving and give Him praise and give Him honor that is due to His beautiful name. I hope you are blessed and you are also looking to a very fruitful and productive 2025. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you will subscribe and also like this video, and comment down below what you think about today's message, and I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.